joining us today for another episode of What's Your Why Wednesday. Today, I am here with the amazing Suha Snell. Suha, thank you so much for joining us today. All right. So, Suha, a lot of us, most of us, have come into the mortgage industry by accident or happenstance. But we stay in this amazing industry because it's tied to our personal and professional why. So at this moment, Suha, we would love to hear, what is your why?
Well, first off, I have to thank you for having me as your guest today, Laura. It's always wonderful to see you. And like you said, I definitely stumbled into the mortgage industry 20 years ago. I actually started as a data entry temp at a startup mortgage company. And, they welcomed me and embraced me. And along the way, I have met so many amazing men and women. And each one of those meetings kind of generated a pivotal moment for me that has helped me discover my why, and I'm just going to list a couple of them because you could see the progression. I still remember attending my first Next conference and meeting Christine Beckwith for the first time. That pivotal moment led to me joining 2020 Vision Coaching, and eventually becoming a director with Women with Vision. About a year and a half ago, I interviewed Marsha Davies, the COO of MBA and the founder of Empower, and that had such a huge impact on me. Obviously, I joined NAMBA's Visionary Ambassadors Program, and I work with you on that. And it's just seeing the impact and the inspiration that we have in the industry, again, solidifies my why. Recently, I met Paul Gelati. I don't know if you're familiar with him, of Access Academy Lending. And, he gave me the opportunity to join their program as a mentor for some of their students. And it's just like one thing after another. And for me, each one of these pivotal moments has helped me peel the onion, as they say, and discover another facet of my why and finding my voice. Because in this industry, we really sometimes feel held back. And so as I go through these pivotal moments, I'm beginning to find out, what is it that I bring to the table and what is it that I add? But then really my most pivotal moment happened about 2 years ago when my mom passed away. And that really shook me to my core. And I realized that I either can continue meandering through life, or I can take a step back and consider, what are my options and what do I really, really want to do? And for me, it's really helping others find their own path to success. That's really what it boils down to. I want to be that conduit. I want to be that inspiration. I want to be that person that helps you find and discover what makes you happy and how to be successful. And so, I know to be able to do that, I personally have to continue to grow, and I personally have to take care of myself. So it becomes like a balance between, how do I grow myself personally and professionally so that I can help others succeed? And that really is what my why is.
That's awesome. Well, it's so interesting that, I love hearing people's whys. I mean, it just makes me so happy, right? And as I hear other people share their why, even you just kind of explained it, as we move through life, our why evolves, our why changes, right? And then to your point about those pivotal moments, different things happen that kind of make us, I'll use, what were we speaking about right before I hit the live, is I'm expecting my first grandbaby. Well, I can tell you, that changed my why again, right? So here I am moving through life and everything changes, and little things change in our lives, whether it is the loss of someone or the gain of maybe it's a new wedding, maybe a marriage, maybe it's a new baby, or all of a sudden, or a new job, it could be a career, right? Change. Yep. All of those changes affect where our why is. And that's why I love hearing and sharing, because each of us have that. And when you learn that why, to where you recognize at this moment in time, this is what my why is, it's fuel. that is fuel for our next dream, for our next goal, for our next mission in life. And that's why it's very important to actually think about it and share it, because other people are obviously being affected by these changes. And that leads me to my next question. So with that, the other thing that I love about our industry is the impact that we have in the things that we do, right? Whether it's serving at a company, whether it's working with an organization or a group, it's all of these things have an impact on others. So Suha, I would love to hear, give me a story. Give me one of those moments where you were like, wow, now I feel the impact of what I've done in a bigger way.
So I'll go back to those pivotal moments that I was talking about, because I agree with you. It's really not one thing. It's those incremental, cumulative things that we do that you suddenly see and feel and experience the impact that you have on others. So one of the pivotal moments that I talked about was interviewing Marsha Davies. Well, from that, I started a podcast similar to this called In the Spotlight with Suha, because I realized that many, especially young professionals starting out in their careers, don't feel they have a voice, don't feel appreciated, don't feel they're being seen or heard or recognized. And so I struggled on how can I change that? And that's what I came up with. And, since that podcast started, I know that we've put the spotlight on about 15 or 16 different young professionals. And just seeing the trajectory of their career after that moment, after being heard and recognized. Many of them have been promoted. Many of them have actually moved on to different roles, different positions. They've grown professionally. It is of the utmost, I feel like I had a little hand in it.
Awesome.
Maybe not a big hand, because they are amazing women and men, but it's just something that propelled them. And hearing from them over time, when they reach out to me, it's just so, it makes me happy. I don't know how else to say it. It just makes me happy. And then from that, I actually, last year I did a leadership retreat with women, and it really helped me focus on where I want to go as well. And so I developed this Fear Advantage program that I've been able to, share with others. And I see, like when somebody's eyes light up, and they recognize something in themselves, they recognize that they don't have to listen to, the insecurities that are going in their heads. They don't have to fear what is ahead of them, and actually are able to face it. I feel that's where I'm making an impact. That's where I'm being inspirational, by helping them find their purpose, how they utilize their heart and use the energy that they have to create those actions and those reflections, which is what FEAR stands for, by the way.
Yep.
It just, I see that, and I step back and I go, I'm doing what I want to do in a meaningful way. And to me, that's what makes it incredible.
Yeah. And that's what we as humans on this earth are meant to do, because every single one of us have unique gifts and specialties, and we need to interlock, right? Because one person's strength could be another person's weakness, could be another person's fear, but together we can stabilize and unite and grow and be wonderful in the world together. So to your point, right? But it takes us allowing our light to shine, because when our light shines, it leads the way for other people that it may be in the dark at that moment, right?
Absolutely.
So I love that you have found that. I love that you're continuing to spread that and share that with others so that they can find their voice and their gift and be able to impact others, right? Because that's what we're here to do on this earth.
Absolutely.
Really that. I love it. All right. So In the Spotlight is a lot about, helping people that are newer to the industry, or, that next generation behind us, and giving them that voice and that spotlight. So with our final question, what would your advice be? As you're working and mentoring and really supporting that generation, what would be some pieces of advice that you would like to share with someone that is newer to our industry?
I actually thought about that because I wanted to make sure that I come across as authentic and genuine in my answer. I think we all hear about, burnout and taking care of ourselves. So for me, that would be the first thing I would tell anyone, not just somebody who's new to the industry, is you have to take care of yourself so you can be there for others and you can support them. Ask for help. There's nothing wrong with asking for help when you are struggling, whether it's professionally or personally. Surround yourself by positive people. I love your book, Say Yes Every Day, because you have to be positive. When you're surrounded by negativity, that drains you. So you're surrounded by positive people, it uplifts you. And make sure you have a tribe of a group of really tight-knit people who have your back. Try to learn something new every day, even if it's something so small as, oh, I learned how to do that in Excel. Something really, it helps you grow. And don't sweat the small stuff. It'll all be there tomorrow. And the last piece of advice I would say is look at your GROW methodology. Okay. And if you're not familiar with GROW, it's goals, reality, options, and the will. So you've got to set your goals. You have to know what your current situation is. What is your reality and what's standing in your way? You have to know what the options are. What is available to you? What is open? What can you do about the challenges that you have? And then you have to have the will. You have to have the strength to go after what you want. Those would be my advice.
I love that. Such great advice. And you are right. If we don't take care of ourselves, we can't help others. So it absolutely, as much as many of us, we think we're being selfish when we put ourselves first. But at the end of the day, if we're not strong and we're not in a good mindset and we don't feel healthy, whether it's, internally, externally, mind, body, and soul, we can't be our best for everyone else. So thank you, Suha, for all of that wonderful advice. Thank you for everything that you do in our industry. You are truly a blessing and a light to all of us. And we wish you all the best always.
Thank you so much, Laura. I'm so grateful for the chance to be on the podcast with you. Thank you.